Hello, welcome to Dunder Rolls Podcast. I'm Reels Justin. Today we're doing my sci-fi book collection. I got a lot of 40K. I have some Star Wars, some Cyberpunk, some Dune, and franchise books. Some of my more fantasy sci-fi books I had in my fantasy book collection video, so make sure to check that out. So we're going to start off with Dune. We got the Dune Butlerian Jihad by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. Brian Herbert is the son of the original author. What was his name again? Frank Herbert. And this is part of the Butlerian Jihad is part of the backstory behind the Machine Crusade, back when if you read the first Dune book or if you watch the movies, they reference how the reason why there's no computers in Dune is because machine AI machines took over the universe and enslaved man. So there was this crusade jihad against them, right? So this is part of that story. I never got around to reading this, but yeah, I will at some point. So we have Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson book, The Machine Crusade. Love this cover, by the way. Right. Other one is Dune, House Harkonnen. Right. I think this was the second book that Brian Herbert wrote. The first Dune spin-off book was House Atreides. Okay, so I'm just gonna fix this. I have the books out of order. So here we got the original Dune. Love this book. If you only read, I think the Dune sequels are good. But if you're only ever gonna read the one Dune book, I would say read this one. But most of the sequels are short, so. They're doable after this one. Next is they're out of order. We got Dune Messiah, the sequel. Look how short. This is 200 something pages. Yeah. Love the spoiler on the cover. They have if you read the book, you know what that means, but. So next one is Children of Dune, which my dog, when I first got her, the Dune books were on the bottom shelf and she got to a bunch of them, so thank God I read this. Next is God Emperor of Dune, which she got to this one too. This is when the series got really weird, and this book was very inspired by the David Lynch movie, which people say suck. Just because David Lynch doesn't like it because, they edited out a bunch of stuff from his cut of the movie, doesn't mean the movie's still bad. If it wasn't for the Lynch film, we would have never gotten this book. Where he got inspired by how crazy looking the space navigators looked like in that film, so he made it in the book that if somebody lived long enough, the spice would corrupt them, right? So he turned Paul Atreides' son into this giant worm monster. Well, he also had this suit of he made this suit of baby worms that he put on his body, which was an exoskeleton. I'm spoiling Children of Dune, but yeah, it gets crazy, dude. I'm missing the fifth book in the series. It's somewhere, but yeah, this is the last one by Frank Herbert. Chapter House Dune, which I don't know if this. I never read this, so I don't know if he ended this series with this one, But yeah, he was building up to some epic stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know if you ever got to do it. So next is one of the worst books I've ever read. Starcraft 2 Flashpoint by Christy Golden. Oh my god. Which we're going to read some Warcraft books by her. But yeah, this book was terrible. It's like in between, it's like this takes place in between StarCraft 2 and Heart of the Swarm. So I felt like I had to read this before the Heart of the Swarm campaign, and boy, was this awful. Oh my god, it was awful. So next we got some Robotech books I haven't read, but they have decent covers. So this is Final Nightmare by Jack Mckinley. This is obviously based off Season 2. Which I think Season 2 was based off the Southern Cross anime. I don't remember. Next we got Symphony of Light by Jack McKinney. This is based off the third season, which is based off the Muspida anime, which the guy, what's his name, Shiro, the guy from Appleseed Animes did the mecha design, and it's so weird how close the robots are, because this anime came out before Robotech, and you have fighter planes that turn into robots, and they look very similar to the Valkyries from from Macross. So it's like, holy crap, man! This is supposed to be the first season, but it's like Macross, which was the first Robotech, was actually a ripoff of this. So it's kind of funny, man. So next was Death Dance, Jack McKinley. One problem with these covers is that they make the the animated characters look like aliens, but you know, it is what it is. Especially in this one. Look at this shit. It's fucking freaky as hell. I forget the characters' names, man. Wasn't it Scott something? I don't know. It's funny. I was able to get through Season 2 of Robotech, but I couldn't finish Season 3. And Season 3 is supposed to be like the best one, besides from the first one. But it's like I couldn't finish it. But it's like I was able to finish like the terrible second season, but I couldn't finish this one. But yeah, I don't know. I think the bike mechs are cool. They're not as cool as like the Garland from Mega City. What was it called? Mega Zone 28 or whatever. But you know, they're still cool. So next are the Resident Evil books. This is the first one, Umbrella Conspiracy by S.D. Perry. I think these are still in print. I bought these at Value Village, if you know what that is. This is based off the first game. Next is the what's it called? Caliban Cove. S.C. Perry is a female, by the way. This is based off, like, you know, I think this is like original, where they just took Rebecca Chambers and wrote like a story with her. Which at first I thought, was this based off like Resident Evil 0? But I don't think Resident Evil 0 was a thing at this point, because if it was, they would have put the one dude on the cover. So this is City of the Dead, which has Leon and what's her name? Jill? Not Jill. Claire Redfield? Yeah, Claire Redfield. You can tell I never played Resident Evil 2. I mean, I've seen, you know, it's the thing is, I sucked at Resident Evil 1, so why would I buy Resident Evil 2 if I sucked at Resident Evil 1? Yeah. They're decent reads. So next, we're going to go to Warhammer 40K novels. This is Hyperion Crusade, Angel of Fire by William King. This is an Imperial Guard novel. It was pretty good. Next is, we're doing some of the omnibuses. This is Salamanders, the Omnibus. Never read it. by Nick Khan. This is Raven Wing, Gav Forb. This is a Dark Angels book, which I had a Dark Angels. Dark Angels was my first Warhammer 40K army. And boy, this book sucked. Here's Grey Knights Omnibus by Ben Counter. The Flash Skits guys said this book was good. I don't know. Never read it. Never got around to it. This is Firecast by Peter Ferreira. This is Imperial Guard versus Tau book, which I had a Tau army. Holy crap! Their guns are good, but their aim sucks. And I know you're supposed to use the what's it called? The target markers or whatever. I don't know. It makes their aim better, but like holy fuck, they still suck. Here's the Blood Angels Omnibuses by James Swallow. Cool cover. There's our boy Refn. Which Blood Angels are vampires, by the way. I love this shit, man. I love this shit. It was a good book. They're named after their Primarch, who was like an angel vampire. Hence why they're called Blood Angels. How that happened, I don't know. I didn't get that far in Horus Heresy, if they even explained it there. Next is, I love this cover. I never got around to reading this. I will at some point. At some day I will read this. This is by Graham McNeil. This is the Ultramarines Omnibus, which is supposed to be really, really bad. A lot of people ranted on this book back in the day. I don't know. It's the thing where the Ultramarines are like the vanilla Space Marines. So I'm not too surprised that the books suck, because you know they don't really have a lot of personality, the Ultramarines, but still, man. The cover looks cool. I want to read it someday, just see how bad it is. I'll probably end up liking it. Happened before. Oh my god, the Horus Heresy books are all mixed up. Which one's the first one? So I think this is the first one. Horus Rising, Dan Abbott. So if people don't know what Horus Heresy is, it takes place in the 40K, like 10,000 years before 40K, and this is when the Horus Heresy happened, which is when Horus betrayed the God Emperor, and you had like this schism of the Space Marines, and that's when the Space Marines first went traitor and turned to chaos and stuff. This was an awesome book. And Dan Abbott also writes comic books. Some of his comic books are bad, but this is a good book. Trying to find out which one's the second book. I think this is the second book. This is Galaxy in Flames by Ben Counter. We got Greg McNeil's False Gods. Love these covers. And James Swallow, The Offer of Blood Angels, The Flight of the Eisenstein. Are those Imperial, what's it called? The Fist guys? I don't know. I can't remember. It's not Imperial Fist. Something like that. I don't know. We got this book, which is a collection of short stories. Best of Hammer and Bolter, Volume 1. I think Hammer and Bolter was like a web magazine or some shit. I don't know. Oh, I also forgot, one of the reasons why people hate Graham McNeil is because he writes a lot of shitty rules into the Warhammer tabletop game. So that's another reason why people hate him. This is an old book, Execution Hour, by Gordon Rene. Never read it. This is another Imperial Guard novel by Steve Lyons, Ice Guard. Read it, it was good. It kind of reminded me of Escape from New York, kind of. but with Imperial Guard. And a little bit of Judge Dredd. This is Relentless by Richard Williams. Never read it. We got Rogue Star by Andy, however you pronounce that. Okay, that's all the Warhammer 40K books, unfortunately. Next is the only Mech Warrior book I have, or what's it called, Battletech? Same thing. Dark Age. This is Ghost War Battletech novel by Michael A. Stackpole. I got this for Christmas, I think. And what's cool about this book is, you know, if you don't want to look up what the robots look like, they have this, and you can see what the robots look like. And they give you stats and what kind of mech it is. Looks cool. Looks cool. Fun fact, a lot of Battletech robots are based off Dugrim, Fang of the Sun, Dugrim, and Macross, and like, you know, early 80s mecha anime. This is Agro Mech. Really cool illustrations here. Clan battle armor. And you get like little toy commercials here. Man, back in the day when I was a kid, we would go to this flea market whenever we would visit my cousins, and there was this one stall that was selling these, and they looked really cool, but they were super expensive. They were like $100 each or some shit, and they like were super small. And like I was like, man, what the? I was a kid. I was like, what the heck? They're such tiny toys. Why are they so expensive? Oh man, I was so pissed off. Yeah, I have some of these, but not Mech Warrior, but old Battletech models that I painted. Next is a Star Wars book, Republic Commando Hard Contact. Good game, did not like the book. Here's another Star Wars book, Volume 1, Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. You got your first appearance by Admiral Thrawn, which Timothy Zahn, Admiral Thrawn. Did you just combine his his first and last name and named him that? I don't know, man. But yeah. This was a good book. It feels a little fan fiction-y, but it's way better than the Disney sequels, I should say. If you ever want to get into Star Wars, a lot of the old Star Wars books, make sure to check out the Timothy Zahn books. Next is Star Wars: The Old Republic, Annihilation by Drew Caspiren, who's written a lot of Dragon Age books, which I own a couple of them. And this book was average at best. I did not like it. For a rogue like character, he's very goody two shoes, and like I didn't like him. Looks like a cool character, but eh. Next is the Mutant Chronicles books. I thought I had 4 of these. Whatever. Mutant Chronicles, Dementia by Michael A. Stackpole. Mutant Chronicles is basically like Cyberpunk 40K. And the models are really cool, especially the Mutant Chronicles Resurrection. But boy, no stores carry them, man. I tried to get into that. But yeah. Oh, I tried to read one of these books and it sucked. There's Mutant Chronicles and Lunacy by William F. Fu. This was the one I think I read. But yeah, Mutant Chronicles is such a cool universe, man. Me and my cousin had the Super Nintendo game, and we would play the shit out of it, man. 2-player? Oh my god. This is Frenzy, John Allen Price. Okay, next, let's do the Shadowrun books. We gotta speed this up. There's Shadowrun Fallen Angels by Stephen Kenson. Shadowrun Born to Run by Stephen Kenton again. Shadowrun Drops of Corruption, Jason M. Hardy. And Shadowrun Never Deal with a Dragon. I read this book. I did not like it too much, but I'm going to try to give it another chance. Yeah. And then there's the last one. This is a more recent one. Is Shadowrun Dark Resonance by Ferreira Weldon. Shadowrun is basically cyberpunk mixed with fantasy. So look that up if you want to know more. I got to like speed this up. So Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Liked the movie, hated the book. Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots by Project Ito. Never got around to reading it. I did beat the game. Crystal Empire by L. Neil Smith. This is like an alternative history book. I picked this up recently. Haven't read it yet. Okay. So this is I picked this up recently. Michael Moorcock's The Cornelius Chronicles, which collects 4 books. Final Program, Cure for Cancer, The English Assassin, The Condition of Music. People say this is very psychedelic. Make sure to check that out. Another book, Fantastic Four, The Redemption of the Silver Surfer by Michael Jan Friedman. This is a book. We're going to review this at some point. Okay, next, Hyperion by Dan Simmons. Cool premise. I hated this book. I couldn't finish it. But like people are like, oh, you're supposed to read Hyperion and then follow Hyperion together. Fuck you. You should have made the book longer then. I've read 1,000-page novels before. Okay? So you should have put it together in the same book. There's 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. Read it. Decent book. The book explains a lot. It explains a bit too much, but you know. There's Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End. Read this. Did not. It has. Here's the problem with Arthur C. Clarke, which is why I don't read any more of his books, because I read these 2 books back to back, and no, I'm not kidding, they have the same ending. Pretty much they have the same ending. Neuromancer by William Gibson. We're going to review this. Robert A. Hyland's Starship Troopers. I was surprised to see how... I thought this would have been an action-packed sci-fi adventure book. It wasn't. It was more a very philosophical book. And I don't know. I thought the book was good. The problem with the book is the first action scene is POV, right? And then like the other action scenes are like they're spoken like they're spoken past tense. So you already know the character survived the battle, and it's fucking bullshit. The first action scene was cool, and the last one was still kind of cool because of the stuff that happened. But it's like, dude, why the fuck couldn't it have been POV? It was written past tense, which made it suck. But if you, by the way, they have power armor that jump around, and they're very much like assault marines with the jump packs from 40K. I wish I had my 40K models around here, but I don't. So I would show you an example. But yeah, they're very bulky armor suits. If you ever seen the Starship Troopers anime OVA, the first one from the 80s, which was like an OVA series, that's more like how the armor is described. The armored suits are described in this series. Next is another Robert A. Heinlein book, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. I read some of it. I did not like it. Next is the Justin Cronin book, The Passage. I bought this. This was a TV series, by the way. I got this because this was a certain YouTuber's favorite book, Monkey Jones, which I used to like the guy. After his whole, like, girlfriend e-drama bullshit, I'm like, fuck this guy. The guy was, like, quoting, like, you know, Breaking Bad and other bullshit, and he was like, for a guy who, like, e-begs, I don't know, the guy makes a lot of money online, and then, like, you know, acts like, you know, like, super, he acts like the Pete Davidson dude, and I'm like, forget this guy. But yeah, he said this was his favorite book, and I read it, and it's basically the Stand, but with, like, vampires. And, like, it's, like, the way he talked about it sounded cool, but, like, I didn't like the book. Which I have The Stand. I would just rather read The Stand, man, by Stephen King. Next is, The Free Body Problem by the author. Read the book. I thought it was good. Here's Dark Forest. Did not like the book. I'll finish it. I did a review for Free Body Problem, by the way. So next is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Philip K. Dick. This is the book that inspired Blade Runner. If you haven't read this book, get it. It's super short. Like it's less than it's practically less than 200 pages. And, like, you know, it's very different from the movie, man. And it's different enough that you'll probably enjoy it. And there's some really trippy, like, stuff that happens in the book, where it's like there's a religion in the book, right? That, you know, that it's implied that the government it's a government psyop, but then the God character shows up to the Decker character and, like, gives him advice and shit, and he's like, are you real? And he's like, I don't know. But he gives him advice, and it's like, holy fuck, man, it was an awesome book. Awesome book. So next is the I was using the Dark Souls manual as a bookmark for this. Oh my god. Next is Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy. This collects all 5 books by Douglas Adams. I read most of the first book, never finished it. But I really love the movie, so at some point I'll read it. Yeah, so that's all my sci-fi books, guys. Let me know in the comments which of these books you want to